And this morning, let me introduce my guest to you in the studio. There's a popular face or a familiar face on the show. We have the former president of Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Afel-Moni. Thank you for joining us. And we also have Ms. Mahama Adams, NDC parliamentary candidate for Mion, and Enoch Afuakwa, member of the National Communications team of the NPP. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Did I get the Mion right?
You got it right.
Yeah. Okay. So like we do on the show, we'll give you a minute to get into any issue that's on your mind. Here at Multimedia, we just hosted, there's a lot happening in the country, I must say. We just hosted that national dialogue on non-communicable diseases, and it was enlightening, educative, and so many things just lets you understand that your health is really your wealth, so we should take it seriously. But over to you. I'll start with you. My Mion parliamentary candidate.
Yeah. Thank you and good morning to your listeners, viewers.
Right.
And I greet my people too, the people of Mion this morning, my party chairman and all party executives, regional and national. Thank you for this platform, Joy News. Yes, like you said, there are a lot happening in the country lately. Top among the list is this current sale of snitch, the hotels snitch to Rock City. Is something that is bothering a lot of people, boggling our minds. So it's an issue that bothers a lot. Yesterday in the House of Parliament, I think the Minister for Employment was there to inform the House that MPRA halted the process sometime, the sale process some time ago, came out to said they've given a green light for the sale to go on. Yeah, so that is mind-boggling because before the halt, there was a letter to that effect, and everybody knew what was happening. So if MPRA has made a U-turn, I'm sure the House of Parliament, which everybody knows is the House of Records, would have had an official correspondence, or even the minister in the plenary should have had something, a document to show to the fact that MPRA is saying ABC, but there was nothing to that effect. So I understand organized labor is going to a meeting this morning to see the way forward. So this is something that is mind-boggling, and we are hoping that we'll see clear at the end of the day. But
I understand what you mean, because we thought that NPRA they were the ones leading the charge against the sale. So if there's something miraculously that has happened, they should let us in on it, right? Okay, I get what you mean. Enoch, what's on your mind?
Let me say a very good morning to yourself and the former president of GJA. He, in fact, did very well during his time as the president of GJA.
Thank you.
And a very good morning to my brother from Mion. Although he's not winning the seat, but let me
Hey, you know that for a fact.
For a fact, okay.
Judging from the performance of government, irrespective of the hardship that we are going through, irrespective of the externalities and all the challenges that has bedeviled the entire global economy, including that of Ghana. Government is serving the good people of Ghana well with policies that are harnessing the benefit of the Ghanaian potential and is driving home some positive attributes, and we are getting out of the woodlots. To join my brother in what he just put out, it's sad that we continue to tickle ourselves and laugh. The National Pensions Regulatory Authority never halted the process. They directed SNET to furnish them with the details of the transactions that they were going through. And having gone through the transactions, the details, I think they are convinced that the whole process...
The directive was to halt it for further engagement with stakeholders and the public. They didn't halt it, but their directive was for them to halt it.
So having gone through the process, that they stop the process or the ports and furnish them with the details of the transaction so that they go through. I think they are all set. And the minister was on the floor of Parliament. And Parliament is a house of records. And having gone to the floor of Parliament on oath and discharge his mandatory duty as the Minister of Labor Relations, I think that my brother shouldn't say that he went there without any documentary evidence to show. At the end of the day, where he was standing, if you know parliamentary proceedings well, he's aspiring to get to parliament, that you can't go to parliament without, to go and lie. You can be cited for perjury, going to the floor of parliament to say things that are not. Should NPRA come out to say that they have not given green light for the transaction to proceed, as Senate as an entity, clothed with the responsibility or the jurisdiction to do what they are doing, to man the affairs of the pension funds or the trust funds, certainly it's a way to go. And now that the news are out, you know, when there was this series of demonstration by Okudzeto Ablakwa, the politically motivated demonstration by Okudzeto Ablakwa.
Politically motivated demonstration.
I was interested to see Okudzeto Ablakwa list the properties that belong to the states in the erstwhile administration. You remember that between 1988 and 1991, over 300 state-owned enterprises were divested to private entities. And you can name them. The likes of the Aboaso Glass Factory, Isawam Cannery, and a whole lot of things. Just to come back to recent time in memory, the Catering Rest House in Tamale and the likes, which were sold to the known NDC Council.
Right. So your point is that if Ignatius is saying that NPRA has agreed to the sale now, that it means there's nothing fishy going on. Is that what you're saying?
There's nothing fishy going on. There's transparency in the whole. There's transparency in the whole transactions. Okay. Certainly, once NPRA has approved of it, it does not end it there.
But shouldn't we hear directly from NPRA? Contributors.
Right. You know, NPRA probably may come out, but if they are not out yet, Senate as an entity can also come out to say that, yes, we are proceeding because NPRA found nothing untoward in the transaction, nothing untoward in the processes, and everything is transparent and we can proceed on that score. And certainly, we shouldn't look at it with a political eye. We can criticize the whole transaction, we can criticize the procedure, we can criticize the processes, or we can object to the sale of those assets, but not to look at it with a political eye. I have my own...
Point noted. Mr. Moni, what do you say?
Suti, I had been reticent and hesitant to comment on the highly controversial statement made by NAPO, which ignited torrents of insults and billows of anger by his political opponent. But last night, I changed my mind after listening to Mano, the venerable Mano of MPP fame. He admitted that NAPO goofed, and that we should all allow sleeping dogs to lie. It is true, even some will still debate it, that Kwame Nkrumah and all other presidents in Ghana are not in the same bracket. So they are not comparable in any analytical sphere. So if you touch Kwame Nkrumah, you touch so many people. Yesterday I had a lot of messages from our colleagues in other parts of Africa, raising concerns.
Yeah, this is Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah, this is Kwame Nkrumah.
You know what's interesting? I'm sorry I interjected. Okay. You know what's interesting? I hosted the government spokesperson on governance and security, Dr. Paulgrave now, Wachidanko, and he says that the comparison that NAPO is making is because at the time of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the population of this country was just 5 million. And so the work you do with 5 million people cannot in no way compare to the work that Akufo-Addo is doing with over 30 million. And that's just something to include in your assessment of what NAPO is saying. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, if you look at the destruction of our water bodies and the depletion of our forests, if you quantify the cost against whatever has been achieved over the years, I heard a person who measured it in trillions of dollars. So we should be extra careful. Yeah, we should inject a highest degree of circumspection in making such comparisons. And I believe it's a fancy of lesson all of us to drink, especially politicians. You know, political communication is littered with all kinds of potholes and landmines.
Yeah.
So politicians should be careful not to step on such landmines. Otherwise, it will be their own undoing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moni, for those thoughts. Now let's get into the various papers. I'll start with the Daily Guide newspaper. The banner stories: Mahama in Russia for support 2.37 million euros ambulance case. Jakpasi Pines, the Speaker, Alban Bagwin. Let's debate economy, mano a mano. That's according to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and he's daring Mahama to a presidential debate. Western Region Chiefs extol Napo, and a vote for NPP is a vote for your future. Let's start from this story about the challenge for a debate. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is challenging former President Mahama to a debate. And I listened to Joyce Bawa Mokhtari, and she says that a debate is only necessary if your thoughts or whatever you're proposing are parallel. So when they look at what they're offering us or what they're proposing us against what the NPP is proposing, there's no need for a debate. What say you? I'll start with you, Ms. Bao.
Thank you. But first, kindly allow me to just say some few things regarding, the earlier issue.
Yeah.
Yes, my brother mentioned the fact that the minister, an MP, could be charged for perjury. I'm surprised to hear that because, remember, he's a minister. He is also an MP. And in the House of Parliament, I think the MPs are immune to, those, yes, omissions and acts.
Not all. They have
so settle, you understand? Yes, no, they are.
Not all. It is not entirely.
So he's gone there to see. You get what I mean? I just wanted to remind you.
That's why they have the privileges committee.
But in any case,
I get. What's the point?
In any case, let's remember, SNIT doesn't have money of their own. They don't have assets of their own. It's the properties. Whatever they have, is for me and you. It's our you and I. It's our contributions that they have.
Right.
That's what they are managing, and they have a duty of care to make sure that they protect our contributions, because tomorrow we'll need it as pensioners, the aged, you understand?
All right.
You get what I mean?
Point noted. Let's get
into,
yeah.
Yeah, so what is happening is that the gentleman, I'm talking about the NDC flag bearer. The gentleman we are talking about here is somebody who has seen it all, an assemblyman, an MP, a deputy minister, vice president, and president. A communicator, everybody knows. He's seen it all. As a sitting president, he engaged, he participated in a political debate during the elections period. In 2020, as the then flag bearer, he challenged the president, sitting president, President Akufo-Addo, to a debate. They didn't honor it. So what has changed today?
Are you saying that because they didn't honor his challenge this time around, he...
In any case, it's not something the flag bearer will be running away from. He's capable of that. But in any case, today, he has even engaged the media recently, to air out his views on the economy, various sectors of the economy, taking questions from the media to answer. So you can see that he's not running away from.
Did you watch the presidential debate in the USA between what's his name? Biden and Trump.
What is happening is that...
Do you see how that paints a picture? If, for example, someone wasn't yet aligned, do you see how just listening to both sides could inform your choice of a president?
You don't need to be at one place, two flag bearers, to be able to air your views out on policies. The president, the flag bearer has done it before, and he will do it again, given the opportunity. What is happening is that we as a party just think that at this point of our, transition, Ghana, at this point in time, we remain focused to be able to find ways to help the ordinary Ghanaian out of this current predicament.
Ms. Bao,
so what
we
is
have
happening
5
is
months to elections. Your presidential candidate or your flag bearer is engaging the media, engaging people. He just concluded that Building Ghana tour about 2 months ago. So if he has his, I must also add that we don't have a manifesto yet from both parts, both sides. So if he's really solid or concrete in his proposals or what he's proposing to do to turn this country around in what he calls building the Ghana we want, what stops him from facing off with his opponents?
Nothing stops him.
But
it doesn't add anything
the other person gets the chance
it doesn't add anything to him. He's faced the media.
It doesn't add anything to him.
He's faced the media. He's done it over and over again. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also wants, he can go ahead and do that.
All right.
In any case, it's not about talking now.
All right.
We've spoken and spoken and spoken. We need concrete actions. What does Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia wants to tell Ghanaians? You are already the vice president. Your government, your party is in power. Go ahead and do the work. We need work to be done and not talking.
He says that we don't need this now. It doesn't add or take anything away from him. What do you think?
I mean, as a country, we have engaged in...
Ms. Bao, you have to hold. Yeah.
You see, the venerable Afemoni is even laughing. I can hear him laugh.
Okay.
And the reason is that NDC should be the only political party that should not be the only political party to be run away from a debate. I'm saying this because looking at the foundation of the National Democratic Congress, the pillars on which the NDC thrives, they stand on the pillars of probity, accountability, and social justice. Where lies the issue of probity? Where lies the foundation of accountability? Where lies the pillar of social justice? So if the NDC is running away from a debate, that will occasion some form of accountability. Because Mr. Mahama, the perpetual flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, has been an assembly member, as he has rightly mentioned, has been a deputy, a member of parliament, as he has rightly mentioned, which is true, has been a deputy minister, as he has rightly mentioned, a minister of state, a vice president, an caretaker president. He did not say acting president. He said he was a caretaker president, and now and the president elected by the sovereign people of this country. So all these positions that he said, he was paid with the taxpayers' money. He was served with the taxpayers' money. So he has some level of accountability to give to the people of Ghana that, given this opportunity, this were my achievements. Given another opportunity, this will be this will be where I can. This will be the position. What's the deliverables? This is where I can set this country up to. And you are fortunate that the certain vice president that you criticize day in, day out is calling out for a debate on the economy, not on any other aspect. On economy, he didn't say on free education. He didn't say on roads. He didn't say on agriculture. He said economy. Let's take it out that we are going to talk even about the macro and the macroeconomic indicators alone. If yours were good, why are you running away from the debate? And I was expecting that when Dr. Bawumia challenged Mr. Mahama to come for a debate, a presidential debate on the economy, he would have tweeted. You know, President Mahama likes tweeting a lot. So last night, I slept around 12. And I was scanning and skimming through all the portals to see whether Mr. Mahama has tweeted, also endorsing that he's ready and prepared to meet Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to debate on the economy. And look at the narratives. Mustau, tell the good people of Ghana on this. Ms. Bao, tell the good people of Ghana through this major platform, Joy News, that your presidential candidates will attend and will debate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the economy because you stand that you did well. You gave us some buffets. You gave us some funds, sinking funds and the likes. Why can't he come and meet the man who you propound that he is the chairman of the economic management team? He has also been chair of the economic management team before. He has been vice president before for 4 years. Dr. Bawumia has been vice president for 7 years. So at least it will be a further debate. It will be a further on our democracy so that these people, our politics will be issue-based, not politics and propaganda as usual. I believe the venerable Afemoni will
I do want to go to him, so you hold for Mr. Wani. I would have thought that it would be Mahama if someone would challenge his opponent to come on a debate. It would have been Mahama rather challenging Bawumia because they've been punching loopholes. But I don't know what you think about all of this. What is really the place of debate, a presidential debate in our elections? But what are your thoughts?
It is unfortunate that such debates are not parts of the culture of our presidential elections. So in the name of cultural borrowing, we can institute that as the case in America, so that the leading candidates will square it off with each other to enable Ghanaians to make informed judgment on their suitability to lead this nation. So going forward, I think this is something we should take a hard look at and then make it mandatory for anyone who wishes to ascend to the most consequential office in this nation.
And not just for the two major parties, but all those aspiring to be president. I mean, we have...
Some are in just to swell the numbers.
Yes, but they're still very much in the race, so it would be fair to give them all the platform to listen.
In as much as they are coming, there is a reason why the draftmen of our constitution drive the nation onto the path of multi-party democracy. in as much as we see clearly that they are unable to win or they can't win, they can also share thoughts and ideas that will culminate into a decision making that Ghanaians may side with it. And gradually, social accountability, people may push that through, and it will become a policy of the state.
For instance, we have about 26 registered political parties in Ghana. Some are just in to add to the numbers.
And that's just for their own...
Yes, for all kinds of...
ulterior motive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just America, they settle it between only 2 candidates.
Sure.
So the 26 will be unwieldy, too unwieldy to organize the debates.
Maybe the top 5. I mean, I'm saying this because I think that the work that so far, it is only the ARC who's put forward a plan of some sort. So it'd be nice to interrogate them to at par with the other parties.
They have it at the level, but I think we can
skip
limit
that,
it to the 2.
So when you mention top 5, how do we assess top 5? Because
but you can tell. How do we know that is NDC and MBB who are the top?
You already mentioned ARC.
Yeah.
But they have put forth something. But in terms of nominal figures, there's nothing to show that ARC has some numbers because they have not gone through an election cycle before for us to know that they are among the top 5.
Yeah.
If we choose CPP and the likes, currently they don't even have presidential candidates because they have not elected presidential candidates. They have not named any.
All right.
Certainly.
For instance, how do you organize a debate between Akufo-Addo and the rest who constitutes the comical footnote of Ghana's...
Mr. Money, let's do some more stories, gentlemen.
I still want to emphasize on the
Please
fact
make that brief. Yeah.
Mahama is not running away from a presidential debate.
Oh, so he's just yet to put out a date
he's not running. No, he's not running away.
Okay.
He's not running away. I mean, back forward, remember, in 2020, when President Akufo-Addo refused to honor an invitation for a political debate at that time, was he also running away?
Well, there's an opportunity for...
No. Was he also
Gentlemen,
was
we
he also
have to
running
get
away?
into more stories. So, Mahama in Russia for support.
Because it's part of...
Let's do this story. Mahama in Russia for support. And this is a Daily Guide report. And they're saying that Mahama is there seeking financial assistance in the guise of a book launch. And according to their sources in Moscow, they know that he's promising some government contract in exchange for their help to win the elections. I'll add one more story to that, and then I'll take your submissions on that. Kenya's Ruto dismisses cabinet after protest. In power to the people. So yesterday, he said that he's, as of today, that was yesterday, in line with the powers given him by Article 1521 and so forth, with immediate effect, all the cabinet secretaries dissolved, all secretaries and the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, in a televised address. And those who are to remain in their positions are Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Minister. And Ruto is saying that he made the move after listening to the people and added that he, quote, will immediately engage in extensive consultations across different sectors and political formations and other Kenyans, both in public and in private, with the aim of setting up a broad-based government. So your take on first, I don't know if it's an allegation that Mahama is in Moscow seeking financial assistance to help him win elections in the guise of that book launch. And then what you make of the power that the people of Kenya are exhibiting, forcing this man to first call back a bill that he wanted to assent to, and now he's dissolved the entire cabinet and the Attorney General. Mr. Moni, let me start with you this time.
The Kenyan experience continues to resonate with all parts of the world, not only Ghana, because no one anticipated or even dreamt of the scope of agitations and protestations against the ruling government and the brutalities unleashed on the demonstrators, further emboldened them to assert their authority, because it's enshrined in our constitution that power belongs to the people. So if the people are the appointees of the political authorities, then the views, the interests of the people should, under no circumstance, be relegated to the periphery of the periphery.
Right.
So this is what you saw in Kenya, and I said this again provides a fountain of lesson for all those in authority to learn. You don't know when the people rise up Ghanaians have been described as docile and all kinds of derivative terms. Yes, but when push to the wall, and when push gets to the shove, anything can happen. And on Russia, and the timing can raise questions, and all kinds of interpretations are being put on the visit of ex-President Mahama to Russia. So we need to interrogate that, and it's also true that there are all kinds of interests, foreign interests, who are trying to, to ensure that the elections go in a certain direction. So we should be on the highest alert. This is a time for our security agencies. This is a time for civil society. This is a time for the media to sharpen their focus on every aspect of our election process to ensure that the will of the people is not changed on election day.
All right. I wish they'd given us, put in a name or something to them. They just said sources say the trip to Moscow, the Russian capital, is an avenue to meet Russian oligarchs for a possible financial support disguised in a book launch. But, Enoch, what are your thoughts on these two stories?
There are no rumors. There are no. There is no smoke without fire, and certainly, the NDC plunged this country into financial distress, culminating from the then passage of the e-levy bill into law, where government was hanged not to harness the revenue that he desired to push forth the economy of this country, with a mindset that government will go to IMF, and IMF, any government that goes through an IMF program in an election year loses an election. That was their narrative. So their interest was to push government harder so that government goes through an IMF program, whereby conditionalities will be given. And now, having gone through an IMF program, Ghana is being used as a model because of the positive strides that we are making as far as the economic indicators are concerned. So having seen all these that yet, what we intended did not materialize into our benefit. And that Ghana got a staff level agreement in record time. I just want to bring you
back a bit because I heard you say positive strides. Just give me 3 instances or 3 indicators that the economy is actually...
Oh, it is on record that the inflation rate rose to
yes, by 2%. 54.5%. We are currently at 22.
Absolutely.
Compared to 24 for last year.
Absolutely. So certainly, yes, 2% is significant.
Is that worth celebrating?
No, it's significant. It's significant. While others are skyrocketing, we rose to 54.5. And currently, if we are 22, it means that there is some significant changes that is happening, although we are under an IMF program. And the record time that we got a staff level agreement and the like. So having seen all this, then they intend to run to the Eastern Bloc, because now Russia has an interest in Africa, looking at what is happening in our neighboring country, Burkina Faso, and the like, Niger, Mali, and those things, whereby a new regional bloc has even been created within the ECOWAS sub-region, the Alliance of Sahel states and those things. Russia's interest in Africa is growing. And certainly, if you are a major opposition leader like Mr. Mahama, going into a major election of this nature in December with a certain vice president, who in this Fourth Republic is seen as the most effective vice president of the Fourth Republic, it's on record that the attributes of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in the Fourth Republic as vice president surpasses all. It is debatable. We are open for debate
because of time.
We are open for debate on that side. So certainly, Mr. Mahama will not mince words, will not lose any opportunity of encountering or going to the West, that is Russia, to seek for support, and in lieu of that, give some promises. You remember that sometime
we have to go. So let me come to Ms. Bao now.
Let me land here.
Make it very brief.
Yeah, brief. Sometime in 2022, President Akufo-Addo had the opportunity of complaining to the American government when he had a state visit or something with the American government of what was happening at northern border, Burkina Faso and Ghana, that the Wagner forces of Russia were almost closer to our place, and it was a disturbing news for the people of Ghana in that end. It raised a whole lot of diplomatic rows and those things. These are some of the things. So if an opposition leader will want to capitalize on some of these things in aid of resources, and we will be giving promises in lieu of that, then it's something that we must look into it as a people of this country, and the national security architecture of this country must also be interested in these matters.
Okay.
Because it's a threat to our national sovereignty.
Ms. Bao.
Well, for starters, this news item, I'm not going to give it much time because, one, the source of the news item alone is coming from the Daily Guide. So I can just say that I can sense some malice, some mischief, propaganda. Because Mr. Mahama was in Russia, first and foremost, to launch his books and nothing else. Oh. That's why he was there.
All right,
so
thank you.
I don't think...
I'll just get into some headlines and then I'll come to you for your paper.
Russian language.
Gentlemen, let me do this.
The Russian language.
I see.
Yeah, but with regards to what is happening in Kenya, it's very clear. This is a lesson to all other countries, especially in our case, when you have a government that is seriously engaged in state capture. You can see what is happening, looting of state properties everywhere. I mean, everywhere across the country. We are aware that the judiciary is in court.
Name some.
We are aware that the judiciary is in court over a land issue. We are also aware in Parks and Gardens in Wa has been sold to a private developer to change into a filling station.
That has been reversed.
We are also aware that the prisons, the prison service is also in court over a state official who has bought their...
All right, Ms.
And there are a lot of things. So when it goes further, you know, the people, like we say, power belongs to the people. When they rise up, this is some of the actions you will see.
Point noted. So just some quick headlines, and then I'll come to you for the new Finder newspaper. NPA donates quadruple GCMS equipment to GuideTech. Stakeholder discuss cement pricing LI. GHA requests road maintenance funding dialogue. On the back page, Mbappe shirt in hot demand. Southgate on verge of vindication. These and other stories in the Daily Guide newspaper. You can pick one for yourself and get into it. So the new Finder now, Ms. Bao.
Yes, we have MOFA shares PFG 2.0 inputs. So the first 200,000 to register under GAP to receive grants. Yeah, so this, I will just say, as usual, is, the MPP noted for sloganeering. PFG, nice name and everything. But you ask yourself, over the years, since this was launched, over the years, so much of the country's resources, so much, a lot has been channeled into
give us context so that we can follow you.
We are not seeing
brief of that story.
Okay. The distribution of input credits under the Planting for Food and Jobs 2.0 initiative is currently underway. All inputs have been successfully transported to the farming communities. So like I was saying, over the years, since this program was launched, so much of the country's resources has been put into this. By the end of the day, you ask, what is the impact? Especially when you have food inflation year in, year out, rising. You go to our markets, you can't buy something, but we expect that. We expect that should government invest so much in such a sector, we should be seeing rewards, you understand, by way of positive impact on the lives of the people, food prices, on the low, or if in any case, should be affordable in our markets.
Okay, so the story says that the goods have been
yes,
transported to the various
but you go in, you struggle to see these things. Yes, at the top it's said nicely, but you go to the grounds, you struggle to see these things. Farmers plow their farm and they struggle to get inputs. You understand? They struggle to get inputs.
Do all the banner stories for me before we get into the actual story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Bawumia boasts of better achievements up north than Mahama. They have DBG to channel 1.4 billion Ghana cedi to SMEs, IFCs to provide $400 million. We have Nooks graduate's death is being thoroughly investigated, IGP. Then Hydro Authority, UKCEH partner to enhance flood control and climate resilience.
All right.
So this is what we
Mr. Moni, what are your thoughts on this Ministry of Finance saying that they've shared or they've transported all the goods to the various locations under the Planting for Food and Jobs 2.0? That's what the story says.
Honestly, I think Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2 was launched recently, and I think the focus has changed. This time, individuals will be allowed to apply for funds. Yeah. To enable them to go into farming. I believe they've learned their lessons from the phase 1. and many are those who are still interrogating the benefits of planting for food and jobs. If we square this against the cost of food items on the market, many are those who are questioning the wisdom of even embarking on this project altogether. I've heard former President Mahama warning that he wouldn't waste any time to scrap the planting for food and jobs. This is opinion, and so let's see what happens after December 7.
Okay. Enoch?
Yeah.
Any quick reactions to that before we move on?
Yeah, sure. The planting for food and jobs phase 2 was launched as Mr. Afemoni just said. And in this time, the cardinal principle of this phase 2 is that it is a private sector led. You know, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture introduced this new policy, bringing in the private sector as input suppliers, aggregators, and financing and those kind of things, so that government will stay backwards, so that the private sector will lead. And in this program, the private sector will supply inputs. The aggregators will then lead the charge. They will bring in all those deliverables for you to be able to cultivate. At the end of the day, you give a percentage of your produce in exchange of the goods, the things that you took, which will cost government less. Unlike the first one that government used taxpayers' money in financing this model. But this second model, it is the private sector that is leading. So the good thing is that once the aggregators are in, at the end of the day, when the produce are ready, then they will then cut them onto the market or into a closed warehousing system, whereby pricing we have uniformity of pricing and those kind of things. So if, let's say, the input supply, the aggregator is bringing the goods to say in Sawam, then the market women or the market queens are picking the goods from Sawam. The price will have some level of uniformity, because you are not going to say Bumprugu, or you are not going to say Wale Wale, or you are not going to say Sola to go and bring the products to the market center. But now it will be closer to you.
Right.
So there are a whole lot of thoughts that has gone into this community from the shortfalls or the challenges that the phase 1 faced. So government has repackaged it, improved upon the policy, and we are waiting to see the policy drive home the necessary deliverables that we are looking for as a country.
There's a report from World Food Program that highlights that an estimated about 1 million or 1.5 or 1 something million of Ghanaians face food insecurity between June and August this year. Do you know that?
It's only a prediction. How do you
reconcile that with
it's
all
only
the
a prediction.
Planting that we are supposedly doing, but
you know, Ghana, our agriculture is largely a rain-fed agriculture. Our agriculture is largely a rain-fed agriculture. So if somebody should tell me that during the rainy season we will face food insecurity or food challenges, then I disagree with you. I am an agriculturist myself. I say agriculture, I know what I'm saying. And certainly, once we are within the rainy
have we not reached the point where agriculture or farming, you know, should not be based on the weather anymore?
Absolutely. That is why I'm saying.
Have we not moved past that?
It is because of the question you asked that which institution did you rightly mention?
World Food Program.
World Food Program. Prediction that we'll face food insecurity within this period, June and July. That's why I'm telling you that. Largely, traditionally, we are a rain-fed agriculture country. We largely, almost all our produce, about 80%.
And I'm saying that haven't we reached the point where largely we don't depend on rains for our farming?
That is why government is making strides in constructing dams like the Poalugu multipurpose dam, which suffered financing problems as a result of the COVID-19 ravages. I know government is still looking around to get financing support for that project. And when successful, it will be able to establish a major agriculture production hub within the up north.
All right. Let's look at your paper now. You can do the banner stories and then one story in there that catches your attention.
Babin lies
what paper is that?
The Citizen. Babin's lies 4 flats. Sexual weakness, one of the key factors contributing to high rate of divorce in Ghana. Respect your office as honorables, for others to respect you, clergy to MPs and ministers. Certainly, I will. Napo's manager chases win to Miss Boy in Kumasi. There's a complete fallacy. It's not true.
Which story in there do you want to get into?
I would like to take the respect to your office as honorables, for others to respect you, clergy to MPs and ministers.
Give us a bit of context before you give us a sense of your thoughts. Yeah.
Page 4. Founder and leader of the Cornerstone Bible Church Internationals, cited at Kumasi Ija in the Ashanti region, His Eminence Apostle, God bless Boateng, has condemned in no certain terms officials who hold the titles of honorable, but yet preside over shameful attitudes like creating chaos and violence to disrupt peace and stability during election times.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is a clarion call to all well-meaning politicians, not even to the honorable members alone. We believe that once you are bestowed with a title honorable, it means that you have been elevated up to a certain level that you must live up to the honor bestowed on you. In many times, when you hear comment from some members of parliament, some ministers of state, i.e. both NDC and NPP, it amounts to some level of dishonorable.
Right.
Last time I was on your show, your sister Adom FM with a member of parliament, and the sort of comments coming from a member of parliament, I told him right on his face on live program that he's been a dishonorable member of parliament and he doesn't fit to be a member of parliament.
All right, we do have to go, so we have to make our comments.
Certainly, our members of parliament must live up to this task. It is not because you are supporting a political party, so any comment that comes, you pass it out. Anything from your mouth, you just churn it out because you are a member of parliament and because you are supporting a political party or because you represent a political party. We must be guided as far as the running of our state is concerned, and they should remember that they belong to the second arm of government, the legislature, and certainly they must live up to that because we are looking up to them. They are representing us.
Mr. Moni, any quick reflections, and now come to your paper.
The searchlight, which echoes the call for the Mahama Bawumia debate, but it comes to the question. Is it a tactic born out of desperation? This is a question the searchlight is asking.
Yeah.
And some are also inclined to believe that if the Bawumia camp pushes or over-pushes the call for debate, then it will be misinterpreted as desperation on their part. So I think the camp should watch it.
I guess there are two angles to this story then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether one party is running away from the challenge or whether the other person is
ordinary should be Mahama
looking for a chance to
chasing Bawumia for a debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's opposition and he's, so this is subject to debate. And Man 71 right BC in Ahafo. Within age is no barrier to education. And Biden's briefing day sings hopes Democrats will move on. Biden is under allegations of cognitive decline.
Yeah.
And so this time his own people are calling on him to...
Which was evident in that performance and the debate.
Yeah, so his people are calling on him to...
All right.
Yeah, so this is...
I'll take your final thoughts, starting from you, Ms. Bao.
Thank you. But first, let me just... the issue of honorable members to respect themselves. Yeah. As leaders, I agree with my brother, as leaders, our actions, what we say, what we do, should reflect our status. So we are supposed to live in such a way that so that at least those following us will also emulate. At least it will promote peace, stability, and of course we want our country to always be the beacon of democracy, peace, and tranquility that every country or every so that you go everywhere around the world, and then Ghana will always be touted for that. So I agree with the man of God for saying that. Yeah, my last thoughts, first change is coming. NDC is promising change, and change is a must, and inshallah it will come. Ghana currently is coupled with, there are so many things going around the country that is not best. We are in a mess. My brother mentioned that they've made significant strides in the economy. I don't know which indicators he was referring to. The 2%. That's who, in the first place. Under whose supervision did inflation become, the figures rose up to the 50%. So So today we are saying we should clap for you. You see, corruption unprecedented. A lot of mess in the system, state capture, looting. So we are telling Ghanaians that, look, we have to stop all this. And to stop this, there must be change. So the NDC comes, reset the
Your
country.
NDC government was also in power, and we know what you also did.
You can't compare the 7.5 years
hold on.
of the NDC.
The allegations of corruption and mismanagement are not lost on us.
No, you can't compare this unprecedented mismanagement, corruption that we've had under these 7.5 years to that of the NDC.
Thank you. Final words, Enoch. Yeah. Please make it brief.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. And I believe that the New Patriotic Party presents the best ticket that will lead this nation into prosperity. 2025 is an opportunity for Ghana to be able to lead the charge, to be able to transition into the fourth industrial revolution. And in this state, we believe that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Dr. Machupoku Prempeh present a better ticket that will be able to enhance the fortunes of our country called Ghana into that state. We are looking at people who are able to blend the path between the Gen Zs, the new world, and the old world. Mr. Mahama, who is the opposition leader, tells us that he will be giving hen coups, and this will not take us into the promised land that we desire. Dr. Bawumia is promising 1 million coders training and a whole lot of deliverables. The flat tax rate, the Estonian model, the hedging our port import duties to that of Togo so that our port will be competitive to the West African sub-region and the likes. And we will be solving the issue of corruption with digitization, which will reduce the menace of corruption. We are entreating the NDC.
Solving.
We continue to do it.
There are so many instances of corruption-related cases in this country that never see any, it never goes anywhere.
Let me tell you one
thing.
Talk
to me about Cecilia Dapa.
Cecilia Dapa, it's a perception.
You know what? We have to go.
It's a perception. But you see, Madam said Nam Tamakulu. I'm admonishing my brother to tell Mr. Mahama that he met the press, failed to comment on Madam said Nam Tamakulu, who the High Court of Ghana has described as a fugitive criminal. She has been convicted and sentenced. Mr. Mahama knows where she is and should be able to invite her into the Republic because she was his appointee. And it was true, Mr. Mahama, that the people of Ghana...
No, you can't say
Ghanaians will shine their eyes and preen their ears to listen and watch for the outcome of the crucial meeting on the sale of 3 shares to Brian Achampong. The Bible, which is a perennial spring of wisdom and infallible guide of conduct, states in 1 Corinthians 6:12 that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. It may be permissible in law to sell the shares to Brian Achampong, but we should do the cost-benefit analysis. The political backlash political backlash arising from the sale could crystallize into something else. So we should watch out, especially Senate. Their image is bleeding. It said that image is everything. Their image has been punctured, their image has been dented, their image has been battered. Their image is bleeding profusely. The only way to stanch the blood flow is for them to do what is acceptable to the good people of Ghana, especially workers. I end my case.
Thank you so much. And that's Safel Moni, former president of GJA. I was also joined by Ms. Mahama Adams, NDC parliamentary candidate for Mion, and Enoch Afuakwa, member of the national communications team of the NPP. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for breakfast.
Thank you.
Yeah. Muftan Abil Abdullah is bringing you Prime Take for AM Sports. Stick and stay.